Would you guys like a drink?
Oh, sure.
Well, good. Because I already poured them.
It sure isn't easy flying way out here with all this snow. No need to worry. March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. April showers bring May flowers, so if there's April showers, then how does March go out like a lamb? April Fools! Alright, let's get started. Super Mario 3D World is a game that the three of us have been playing the past couple of days. A great game, no doubt, but not exactly the next 3D Mario I was hoping for. What it does have, however, is a lot of difficult levels. Levels could be on this top 10 hardest list for their design, their gimmick, the collectibles, which we will mention, or because of how many times I had to use the Invincible Super Leaf. It was a lot. I'm much better at crawling through mazes. So we present to you the top 10 hardest levels in Super Mario 3D World. Pretty much half of this list is made up of special world levels. You know, those unoriginal ones that take an easier level from before and beef it up in some crazy way. One of the most annoying examples is Spiky Spike Bridge Sneak. I always hated searchlights in this game. If you step inside one, it sets off a trap that can really screw you over. Spiky Spike Bridge Sneak takes those searchlights and combines it with Spiky Spike Bridge. Oh God, the name! It's fantastic! It can be pretty easy sometimes to go around the searchlights, but you have to be pretty dang quick, or the platform you're standing on will move right into the searchlight. This will activate all the spikes on the platform. You have a short amount of time to get off the platform before the spikes go up, and you'll get hurt most of the time. The collectibles are also a pain. Not that kind of pet. Your humor is pathetic. There's a green star that you have to get by taking a risk and dropping down from a tower. Quickly grab back on, get it, and land before you run out of climbing energy. There's another really tricky one that requires jumping from a platform almost completely covered in spikes, your only safety being the blocks. After that, you need a perfect jump so that you get low enough for the green star, but high enough so that you don't get poked. As if this level wasn't chaotic enough, the spikes from its easier version are all back, and the ones on the red boards don't need a searchlight to be activated. These ones are twice as fast, and they almost sound like the beat of a quick dance. I like to call it the Spiky Sunset, because they kinda sound like this. Hopefully you can make it to the top of the flagpole before getting poked. All in all, Spiky Spike Bridge Sneak is a very dangerous level, and you constantly have to be aware while playing it. To think it barely even made it on the list. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Take an old lady that doesn't know much about video games. Is this like 3D Pong? You realize I'm not much older than Pong, right, Alice? Where's your Commodore 64 so we can load this tape? Now explain to her that it's Mario. Oh, I'm pretty sure I've heard of Mario. You know, kids in their games these days, I'm really starting to get worried. All they do is just press buttons for hours on end. You don't even have to think while doing it. Now show her Blast Block Skyway. Do I need to say much more? Blast Block Skyway is a harder version of Beat Block Skyway, only this time the beat blocks go back and forth every second. And there's flying dry bones! I hate flying dry bones, as you'll see later on in the list. The Boomerang Bros were kinda tricky in this level's easier version, but this time they're replaced with spikes. No, I don't mean spikes as in ooh, ee, ow! I mean these guys. Spike is literally what they're called. You know what? I'm calling them Toby so you guys don't get confused. Trying to jump across the beat blocks is hard enough, but if you're trying to avoid the pointy pillars that the Tobys throw at the same time, I sure hope you're good at jumping and timing. What if you don't have rhythm? I'm terrible at rhythm. That explains why you lost more lives than me in this level. 41 to 40 is not that big a difference. Anyway, after all these problems, the flagpole is finally in sight, but not without an epic finale. There's a big slide leading towards the end of the level, and it's made of nothing but beat blocks. If you can't position yourself in the middle and balance, you're gonna have to jump every second as you slowly go down the slide. The slide goes from 2 blocks on each side to only 1, and it tricks you so you have to switch sides. Then hold your breath as you head towards the middle to grab the green star. Now just keep going and going, and you're there. There's a couple more flying dry bones and beat blocks just to bug you one last time. After that, you're done. What do you think, Alice? Those graphics were amazing! Is it for Windows 95? Okay, let me try and explain this level. It's the only one on the list before the special worlds. Okay, so here's how this one works. Alright. This is you. You have to get across this really skinny level, except it's covered in these boost pads that make you run like you just drank a gallon of coffee. It was good. But wait, can't you just jump over the boost pads so you don't have to worry about flying off the level? Like, instead of going wee, you just go ah. You only have 100 seconds on the clock, so you can't just go ah. You have no choice but to go wee. This game is for the Wii U, not the Wii. And as you're going wee, you have to get past these pointy pillars that roll back and forth, so more jumping for you. And you can't just run around them by timing it correctly. You'd be better off jumping. So instead of going, you have to keep going wee. Exactly. But the fun's not over, because you've also got a few falling platforms to worry about. Now for the collectibles. Every one of these collectibles is filled with difficult turns and jumps. But that's only because you're going wee. There's a little secret area stuffed with Goombas as well. You can use a superstar to blow through them and get extra lives, but you gotta hurry because of the low timer. So you kind of have to go bum 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 bum. Yeah, totally right. Try to adjust yourself as you jump towards the middle clear pipe at the end, because that'll make you go and you'll blast over to the top of the flagpole. How does that sound? I don't understand your math. That looks nothing like Red Hot Run. Red Hot Run. Oh yeah, that's the name of this level, by the way. Seriously though, it belongs in a later world if you ask me. Number 7 is the only level on the list from World Mushroom, and it's also the last one in that world. The name of this level is a great example of alliteration. Broken Blue Bully Belt. Sounds like a nice place. Really? No. What the heck were those puppets? I don't know. Broken Blue Bully Belt is a much more difficult version of Boiling Blue Bully Belt. What it does is it takes this level and smashes out 90% of it. I feel like I'm watching HGTV. With most of the level missing, it makes for some very hard jumps. Luckily, there's a couple super leaves littered throughout the level, so you have more time to land. This place has a lot of platforms that sink into the lava. They sink quickly, so you have to think lightning fast about where you should jump. You can use the super leaf to fly across the first part of the level, but it's a pretty tricky jump. The first collectible is on a sinking platform off to the side. It sinks at a different time than most of the other platforms, which can throw off your timing if you're jumping back to the other platforms. There's another part of the level that not only has sinking platforms, but also pointy pillars and even lava balls as you're timing your jumps. At least you get a break if you jump on top of one of the pillars, which has a collectible. I should also mention the enemies. Fiery objects that roll around and chase you, plus there's flying dry bones. In a later part of the level, there's a couple of platforms that come out of the walls. This part isn't very tricky though. What is tricky though is the third green star. I'm not good at jumping off the very edge of things, and that's exactly what you have to do here. On your way to the flagpole, there's a set of sinking platforms that can screw you up if you're not careful, and it's a shame too when you're right at the finish line. Pac-Man, why are you talking like that?
Psst, I think the coffee's taking effect.
Wait, don't start talking about the level without me. I'll be right back. Hold on, sir. I'm sorry, but the bathroom is not available at the moment. My wife is in there giving birth.
So now what am I supposed to do? Is he back yet?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, Super Galaxy has red and blue platforms. When one color stops rotating, the other one starts rotating. This level introduces Octoombas. You know, those puny Goomba clones from outer space. Well, in this game, they are much more annoying. You can't just spin and jump to defeat them like you could in Super Mario Galaxy. You have to defeat them by ground pounding. They also shoot 3 rocks at you in a row, rather than just one. Hey, that's not fair! They can stay on the rotating platforms, but if I try to do that, I fall.
Suction cups all day, son.
The first green star is really difficult to get. You have to jump over to a blue platform with a block above it. The green star is floating on top of the block. Unfortunately, the block can be broken by either you or the Octoombas, leaving there no way to get the green star. Or they could break it while you're standing on it and possibly send you falling to your doom if the blue platform below is rotating. Later on, there's a road of red platforms with our beloved boost pads on them. Having to control yourself across rotating platforms while you're going crazy fast is no fun.
But the next part has no boost pads. Yeah!
What it does have is jumps in between and a teleport box at the end that can only be accessed on one side. After going in the teleport box, there's a barrage of Octoombas. The stamp can only be reached if you have a catsuit, but there's no catsuit in the level, which means you have to enter it while wearing one and keep it with you until this point. Easier said than done. Wait, you forgot a coin.
Who cares?
It must be really important. Every time the Octoombas attack, the game reminds you that there's an invisible coin block by them.
That area is so clustered that I wouldn't even recommend going back there, especially for 1 coin. But it's so important!